Some running shoe companies have gone insane when it comes to putting all this technology and stuffing it into running shoes. But honestly, there's two companies that have just gone so overboard that I can't not talk about these shoes and put them up against each other. What's going on, everybody? By the end of the video, we're going to decide which one of these shoes, if someone came in and stole them from my house and all that stuff, after I stopped crying, because that's a lot of money in running shoes, which one would I go out and buy again? We're going to be looking at the technology used in either of these shoes, which one of them I feel is better at marathon racing for long runs, and overall, which one of these beautiful, thick behemoths give me the most amount of joy. Let's talk about it. First up, let's talk about the technology used in either of these shoes, starting off with the Alphafly. Get out of here, Primex. In the Alphafly, they have full-length ZOOMX with 40 millimeters in the heel, 36 in the forefoot for that 4 millimeter drop, and sandwiched in that ZOOMX, obviously it has a carbon fiber plate, because if it doesn't have a carbon fiber plate, well, how can you justify spending $400 Canadian on a pair of running shoes, right? It also has these AirPods in the forefoot here for a little bit of extra zest when you're going through your foot strike. The Alphafly has a booty-like upper with the Atom Knit material, one of my favorite materials ever used in a running shoe. Now the Primex has full-length LIGHTSTRIKE Pro, which is Adidas' answer to ZOOMX and all those other types of super foams. It's carbon energy rods, energy blades, a carbon fiber plate in the heel because God knows you need a little bit of stability when you're running on 50 millimeters of stack height in the heel and 40 millimeters in the forefoot. Now the Primex upper is their stellar mesh with a sling launch heel, and we'll talk about that in just one second. How I don't actually really like it. First, I want to talk about the LIGHTSTRIKE Pro versus the ZOOMX foam. Now, the ZOOMX implementation in the Alphafly definitely feels a little bit more responsive compared to the LIGHTSTRIKE Pro implementation in the Adidas Primex. The Adidas Primex LIGHTSTRIKE Pro feels very, very soft and very bouncy, but it doesn't feel like I want to go out there and run very fast. Now, this is totally different compared to what I feel in the Adios Pro 2. When I'm running the Adios Pro 2, it feels almost firm when compared to the ZOOMX foam in the Alphafly, which those shoes, the Adios Pro and the Alphafly, have the same stack height. So is it something that the LIGHTSTRIKE Pro just exponentially gets softer the more stack height there is? I'm not quite sure. Or is there a different kind of blend, different kind of a formula of LIGHTSTRIKE Pro that they use in the Primex compared to other shoes in the Adios LIGHTSTRIKE Pro type of realm? But definitely looking at the Primex and Alphafly from a purely ZOOMX versus LIGHTSTRIKE Pro in the Primex type of battle, I honestly feel that the LIGHTSTRIKE Pro feels more on the side of like a good long run shoe. It doesn't feel like I want to go out there and run fast. It doesn't help me get that faster turnover compared to the ZOOMX foam in the Alphafly with those AirPods, of course. Like the AirPods make a massive difference in the overall feel of it. And the combination of the ZOOMX and the AirPods makes it feel like a fast marathon and long distance racer, where the Primex and the LIGHTSTRIKE Pro and all that type of stuff going on in there feels more like a long run and kind of, I don't want to say daily trainer because like who's going to train in that type of shoe every single day, but it definitely doesn't feel like one of these marathon super racing shoes. And something you might be wondering is how do the energy rods, energy blades, and the little carbon fiber plate in the heel of the Primex compared to the full-length carbon fiber plate in the Alphafly? And to be honest, I don't find there's too much of a difference in feel between the carbon energy rods and all that stuff and a full-length carbon fiber plate. For me, it still gives the same amount of rigidity and all that different type of stuff, especially when I'm looking at it from an Adios Pro 2 and the Alphafly. Definitely, there's almost no difference in feeling between the energy rods and the carbon fiber plate. There's an issue that these high stack, high technology type shoes can cause for runners like me that have a little bit more of a weak ankle, weaker feet, just, I don't know, just overall weaker biomechanics, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And that is instability due to the high stack height and all these different rigid bodies within the shoe trying to control your foot strike. And that has to be a big consideration if I was choosing one of these shoes. Which one would I choose in terms of overall stability? And to be honest, they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Definitely cornering in the Primex is a no-go, game over. But the Alphafly can also feel unstable in its own right. So in terms of stability, I'd say it's a draw, but if I was going on a course with a lot of turns, definitely don't want to wear the Primex. So which technology works better for me? And you're not going to really like this answer because it's not definite, but it really depends on what the use case is going to be. If I'm going to go out there for just a pure long run and training run, Primex every single day because of that forgiving nature, and it just makes the leg feel so fresh. If I'm going out there racing, it has to be the Alphafly. It's much lighter and it feels a lot more peppy on our step in comparison to the Primex. So for racing, Alphafly. For everyday training and long runs, Prime X. That didn't answer the question, which one of these shoes would I buy if I only could buy one again? And before we get to that answer, I have to look at the uppers, obviously, because that makes a massive difference in the overall feel of the shoe. The booty-like construction and the Atom knit upper on the Alphafly feels absolutely fantastic. I've never had any trouble in terms of lockdown. The breathability is top-notch, and it barely holds on to any water. I absolutely love the Atom knit upper. The Cellular Mesh upper on the Prime X doesn't feel great. I don't like the tongue. It's very thin. I don't get a great lockdown with a sling launch heel. I don't find it the most breathable of things. I don't find it very comfortable. So overall, the upper is adequate, but I wouldn't pick it out and say it's anything special in my humble opinion of a non-elite runner. Keep that in mind, I'm a non-elite runner. But now it's time to make the decision. Which one of these beautiful high-stack behemoths would I buy again if I could only buy one? Okay, on Zoom for less dramatic effect. Now, if I could only buy one of these shoes again, drum roll please for dramatic effect, the Prime X. The Prime X here, I just find it a much more versatile package. I'm not someone that races very, very frequently, but I do train frequently, and having this shoe in my arsenal just is an absolute fantastic addition. Running the shoes make my leg feel so fresh, but honestly, the type of training I do right now is like longer runs at I don't know, moderate pace. And I find that's where the Prime X really shines. The Alphafly, you know what? I have quality concerns about that, like the AirPods, and I also had to send back a pair of Alphaflys because of the foam detaching from the heel. So that aside, I just don't find it as versatile. The lower price and the versatility of the Prime X makes it my choice over the Alphafly and the winner of this behemoth over-engineered running shoe battle. And if you want to hear more about my thoughts about the Prime X, I'll leave a video right up here. And if you enjoyed this video, why don't hit the subscribe button and boop the like button if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it for the pesky YouTube algorithm.